it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is the place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. So subscribe and hit the bell icon right now. So today we're going to be discussing how Diary Confessions of a Hyperromantic Asexual 78 life lessons can truly ace your life. Like, why did I write Diary Confessions book? Like, what was the point? How can it help asexuals? So if you're new to this channel, you might not know that I deep dive into my own asexual life in order to help asexuals in their life. And if you're familiar with this channel, you'll know that I show asexuality in real life context through my everyday life so that you can know and be empowered as to how you can overcome challenges in your everyday life. That's why I do a lot of vlogs. That's why I do live streams as well. So I can empower and inspire you how to overcome the challenges that asexuality brings to every day. Because it can be a challenge being asexual because we're a different sexual orientation. A lot of the world population don't understand us. There's a lot of myths and stereotypes about asexuality, a lot of misunderstandings. And we can struggle with things like dating and relationships. Some asexuals struggle with confidence and being their authentic self. And I'm here to show you that you can be the beautiful, asexual, confident person you're always born to be, and how you can overcome different challenges on a daily basis rather than just read out some textbook definitions of asexuality that anyone can do on any channel. Right? I believe real life world experience gives you far much more insights and wisdom and knowledge than just sharing something that someone's read off Google. So that's what I like to do on my channel, to empower and inspire you to live your best asexual life. And one of the ways I do that, like I said, is sharing my own asexual journey in order to help you in yours. And this means not just sharing the good bits of my asexual life journey, but also the difficult times, the struggles, the pains, the heartaches, the heartbreaks. And so I describe how I've overcome those so that you know that you can overcome those too. And this is why I wrote Diary Confessions of a Hyperromantic Asexual book, because my channel goes behind the scenes of my life. It's like a reality TV show, if you didn't already know that. And this book dives deeper into the behind the scenes of my life. So if you love my channel, you'll love this book. And if you want to deep dive into more of my asexual life to understand how I overcome the challenges and obstacles that brings, then you'll love this book. I wrote this book with you in mind. Although I'm sharing my own asexual life journey, I thought, what if instead of just keeping all my thoughts and experiences to myself, I share this with the people who I love in this community and who can benefit from the life lessons I'm learning, so that you don't have to go through all the pain that I experience, right? Let me take the hard hits for you, because despite the fact I do get very upset, I am a very emotional, sensitive, kind, caring, empathetic person, I can actually still be a warrior, and I can come through these tough times, and I can show you how you can do the same, right? So this book is not just my thoughts and feelings, it's how to ace your life through the life lessons that I learned along the way of my own asexual journey. So this is the blurb in case you haven't read it. Sandra Bellamy, a self-confessed hyper-romantic asexual, believes she has psychic abilities. Convinced she has an Indian soulmate from a past life who she's been trying to find this one since 2014, Sandra prays to see him, but all is not as it seems. And this is a book I wrote at the end of last year. So this isn't recent events. This is the last year. Book 2 I'm working on currently. So he loves tragic love stories and unhappy endings to go with his bad boy persona. She just wanted the guy of her dreams. Little did she know the horror of her vision becoming a reality when a chance encounter changes the trajectory of her life forever. However far their worlds seem apart, fate has drawn them together. But why? Why indeed? Join Sandra from some incredible real-life asexual adventures with many twists and turns of fate where asexy attraction becomes climactic kissing passion, sensuality turns into personal power, and self-love takes on a whole new meaning as she embarks on a journey of self-discovery, uncovering some deep truths in the form of life lessons that will ace your life. This is why it's relevant to you, and set you free to be your authentic self in all of your naked soul glory. If you've ever wanted to make your own dreams and fantasies a reality and get your asexual needs met, Sandra shows you the way, giving a whole new meaning to love, affection, and human connection. So, yes, I wrote this book with you in mind so that I could show you how you can truly ace your life, right? So, this book has 30 benefits of reading it, right? 30 benefits. So I start in the introduction by saying, if you watch my Asexualise, my Asexual Life channel, which you're watching now, that chat show and vlog I do on here, you'll know I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. I purposely show you what it means to be asexual in real life context rather than just give you textbook definitions of asexuality, to show you the difficulties, challenges, and struggles asexuals face on a daily basis and how I overcome those so you feel inspired, empowered, and educated to be able to do the same in your own life and ace it. This very personal diary book gives you none of the bullshit I was going to say. This very personal diary book gives you more of those valuable insights as you join me for more behind the scenes action of my asexual life. This is real asexual life we're talking about. I'll be unleashing 78 insider secrets for keeping your mind sane and getting your life back on track, which I think anyone needs in 2024. These life lessons will help you to heal, to be your true, authentic self, and to become a better version of you. This diary book will prove to be a useful bedside companion as you continue to navigate the complexities of your life. So once you've read this book cover to cover, you can quickly reread the life lessons as and when you need a quick pick-me-up or a reminder. Now, I said this book comes with 30 benefits. 30 we're talking about. This is a lot of benefits to reading this book, right? So I talk about this here, right? The benefits of reading this book, right? So if we go through the benefits, right, by the time you finish reading my personal diary book, this is Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual. Do get it from Amazon if you haven't already got your copy. So by the time you finish reading this book, you'll be equipped with the knowledge and know-how to. Ready for it? 1, stop resistance from turning into procrastination so you can take consistent action in pursuing your passions to make your dreams a reality. So with this book, it's not just about asexuality in and of itself. It's about the life lessons I learned on my asexual journey that if you take them on board, you can apply to your own life and you can ace it. Now, when I'm going through these life lessons, I don't expect you to go, oh, I'm going to do all these, because you're just going to get overwhelmed. If you just take 1 to 3 things from the book, from the life lessons in it, to change your life, you'll have made significant improvements. Sometimes when you're going through life and you're having difficulties, it's hard to change because you don't want things to change and things can feel like they're changing and out of control. But it's only when we make change happen for us by taking our lives and changing us or our life in some way that we truly empower ourselves to move forward and gain momentum. Does that make sense? So even if you just get this book, take one thing, I'd say take 1 to 3 things from it, ideally, to push your life forward. But even if you just do the one thing, that's how change happens in your life. Major change happens with just one small action of doing something different that you haven't done before. So I would encourage you to get a copy of this book. So anyway, let's progress. So we all need to stop procrastinating, right? And what I found and discovered and I talk about in this book is resistance. And I actually quote another writer called Stephen Pressfield. And I've got his book, it's over there actually, called The War of Art, right? And I talk about his book in this book, and I do pull a few excerpts out of it so that you can learn from his wisdom as well and knowledge. And I talk about how he talks about resistance, and it's usually when we're very close to achieving our goals, whatever goal it is in any area of our life, that we come up against the most resistance. Obviously, I dive a bit more into it in the book, but in essence, that's what I talk about. And so this is why it's so difficult. Like, some people, you feel like you're not getting anywhere in life, and you're trying and trying, you're pushing and pushing and working hard and hard, and you often feel like just giving in at the last minute because it's like too much hassle. It's like, oh my god, I've done, this for ages. So for example, my Asexual Guide to Sex book, right? I started in June 2019, and yes, I'm still aiming to finish that book. I'm going to finish that book. It's not going to be unpublished, it's going to be published, right? But it's like 5 years in the making, that book, which some people have just given up. I don't give up, right? Because I know when that book comes out, it's going to be amazing and help shed loads of people. And the fact that I've taken years to actually do it means I've put my best work into it, right? So yes, ideally I wanted it out years ago. I had people waiting for it years ago, but things get in the way. Sometimes life gets in the way. But just because that happens doesn't mean to say you can't go ahead and still finish that goal or that dream. So even if you're an artist right now and you've got this painting a couple of years old and you haven't finished it, get it out and finish it, right? This book gives you deep insights into stuff like this. Resistance comes when you're that close to achieving your dream, and every time we make progress, we make incremental progresses. Sometimes we don't see it, and other times you might be like, hang on a minute, okay, this didn't work out, but I've made a bit extra progress than I made before. And all those progresses add up so that you can achieve your dreams, right? You can't run all the time. You have to walk first and learn things. If I look back in my life now and what I've achieved now compared to years ago, it's phenomenal. If I don't think about what I've achieved years ago and all I do is focus on now and think, oh, I've had this difficulty lately, I've had this upset lately, I've had this heartbreak lately, I've had this happen lately, then, it doesn't feel so good. But if I focus, for example, on last month, when this Diary Confessions book became a bestseller in multiple categories on Amazon.com and Amazon.co.uk, number one hot new release on both of those sites, number one hot new release, beating hundreds and loads, even thousands of other books, right? Sexual books, traditional heterosexual aimed books. And I got this to be a bestseller by myself. I didn't pay some people thousands of pounds to do it for me, right? I have done more training on this last year. I bought Blue Talks courses, it's speaking packages, which gave more insight. Their training gives more insight into how to get your book to be a bestseller. So I took their instruction, but usually you have to have a team behind you, right? So yeah, I'm solo. So, you can achieve your wildest dreams, right? And sometimes your dreams don't have to be lavish. They can just be finishing that painting, for example. But, don't do it because other people. Do it for yourself. Like, I do things for myself. Like, I write books, right? I want people to buy this book, but I know it's a book that has to come out because it's in me. Does that make sense? So sometimes when you're going for something in life, you're wanting to do something in life, you have to ask yourself, are you doing it for the right reasons? Because you'll have less resistance if you're doing it because you love it and you know it's innately something you need to do, rather than if you're just doing it because you think other people want it, right? So I do write books for myself as well as for my audience, if you like. Because, if I'm not passionate about what I'm writing about, it won't be written. Do you know what I mean? So let's move on to number 2 now. Second benefit of reading this Diary Confessions book. I show you how to transform your pain into personal insights which you can learn from. So as I quote, from this book, right, in the preface, your truth and your pain is your personal power. Listen to that again. Your truth and your pain is your personal power, because it's your unique journey. That's just your own, that you can learn from, right? No one has your blueprint. No one has your DNA, right? So it says your truth and your pain is your personal power. Haters are always going to hate, but loving yourself inside, regardless of what others say, think, and do, is how you truly ace your life. So that is how you transform your personal insights. I dive in to this much deeper in the book, right? I show you how you can use your personal insights and your pain and turn it into your power to learn from, right? So harness your pain into your personal power. This is diving deeper. So the first is how to transform your pain into insights, which you can learn from, and then how to harness your pain as your personal power. So, for example, I'm going through another life reinvention at the moment, and I'm using the pain of the heartache and heartbreak I've experienced in recent weeks with my ex last month breakup, right, to become a more powerful human being, to rise above what's happened to me and to learn and to grow as a person, right? I've joined Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club. He's the #1 love coach in the world with over 3 million subscribers, over 500 million viewers. He is the top love coach, 17 years experience, born in the UK actually, right? I'm in his Love Life Club, which is like a VIP membership, right? I'm learning from the best now, learning the best dating relationships advice ever on planet Earth, if you like, if you believe he's the best. He's recognized as the best love coach, right? So I'm learning from the top. Would I be doing that if I hadn't gone through the heartache and heartbreak last month? No. Now I'm upskilling myself. My intellectual levels are going to shoot up. The more I'm in his club, it's a 12-month program I've signed up for with him. The more I'm in his club, the more knowledge I gain, the better person I'll become, the more skills I'll have, the more experiences I'll have. So I'm harnessing that pain as my personal power to transform myself into being a better human being, not just for myself, but for you on this channel, for people that come into contact with me, and if I ever decide to get into a relationship ever again, for the future partner. Because I don't want to take all that shit that was going on in that relationship and bring it to a new relationship. I don't want to not understand myself. I want to grow as a person. I want to understand, why did I actually stay in a relationship that wasn't good for me in the end? You know, like, unfortunately, there was a lot of lies and deceit on his part. So it's hard for me to totally know everything. But, you know, I'm using that now as a way forward for me to become a better person, to be stronger, to be more resilient. Because, you know, when we have tragedies in our life, when we have difficulties, when we have pain in our life, right, if we want to change our life for the better, we have to harness that power and use it to our own advantage. The pain's going to be there anyway, so I can either have the pain and do nothing with it and just stay in the pit of despair, or I can take that pain and think, what can I do with this pain now? What's the solution? How can I have a healthier relationship in the future if I want that? How can I just learn better dating and relationship skills? How can I become a better person? How can I become stronger? How can I become more confident again, more self-assured again, more happier again in myself? Right? Already, I've only been like with this program for a couple of weeks, and already I've seen significant improvements in myself. I'm back to loving being single again. Do I still have teary moments? Yes. This morning I was upset still. But, you know, from the pain comes the gain, the insights that you need to push yourself forward in life. Right? And I get personalized one-on-one coaching and group coaching from Matthew Hussey herself last week and this week, you know? So we're going on to number 4 now. Like, what is the benefits of Diary Confessions? How are you going to ace your life? This is the 4th benefit. I show you in this book how to grieve, learn from, and overcome friendship and potential relationship loss, which of course is good because, you know, like, that's what I've been going through recently as well. So, you know, this is a really important book. If you've ever grieved from a friendship loss, not just relationship loss, but friendship loss we're talking about, which I think a lot of asexuals can relate to, then this is a book for you. How to overcome difficult and painful situations a lot quicker. Again, this is a really good, insightful book for that. And understand the real truth about law of attraction that no one is talking about but me, right? So I don't know if any of you on this channel are particularly spiritual, but if you are, or if you come across something called the law of attraction, there's a big saying in the law of attraction spaces that you attract what you are, right? This is meant to be the mindset that everyone's a reflection of you, and that, you know, basically everyone's like a mirror image of you. I don't actually agree with that totally 100% at all, because people don't just attract what they are, they attract what others need. And I say this in the book. I blow the lid off this thing where people keep saying everything's a mirror image of you. I'm not saying that's not true in some aspects, right? Because people repeat patterns, right? Which can be to do with, you know, like if you've had childhood trauma, then you can get repeated patterns in relationships, right? Which is something that I thought I'd overcome a lot personally, but I'm going to be working on more in the coming months as well, right? So, you know, you can repeat, you can have like things that have happened in your life that reflect in your relationships. That isn't not true, right? But it isn't only that. You also attract what other people need. Because, for example, if we take a fitness instructor that's fit, right? What do fitness instructors that are fit attract? Do they attract other fit people? Do they? No, they attract people who need to get fit, who need to turn their body up, who need to lose weight, who are the opposite of them, right? So they attract what others need. So they're fit and they attract people who need to be fit, right? So you don't just attract what you are, you attract what others need. If you look a lot of channels, for example, law of attraction channels, you'll notice they don't just attract the people that are doing well, they attract unsuccessful people. So when you've got people on YouTube that are saying, you know, about law of attraction and you attract what you are and everyone's a mirror image, and you've got these people who are YouTubing saying they're millionaires, which they might very well be, right? Or they might not be, right? Depending on if they're trustworthy or not. So say they are a millionaire, do they attract millionaires to their channel? The what, you know, do they attract just millionaires to their channel? The people looking to become millionaires, where do they go? The people looking to become millionaires go and follow the people that are millionaires to learn how to become that, because they're attracted to someone who's got what they want. So the person who's got what they want attracts what others need. And this is also something that happens in relationships as well, that no one talks about. This is how opposites attract. This is how, if you're missing something in your life, if you're missing excitement in your life and you find a person exciting, that is because you are being attracted to someone because of a need in you. You need more excitement. And that person's attracting you because of what you need from them. So we don't just attract what we are, we attract what others need. And as far as I know, like for me personally, I'm the first one I've heard say that. I'm the first person. Of course, there are probably other people that said that in the world, but I don't know of these other people that said it first. I said it on my channel in comment to someone who watches my channel quite a long time ago, and they said they had come to that conclusion themselves as well. Hello to them if they're watching. So, you know, this is a big thing. This is why opposites attract. You know, like I have guys attracted to me because of my energy is high, because I'm excitable, and they like that. But the fact is like when it gets to everyday life, you can't always be 100% excitable all the time and 100% giving all this energy all the time, because life and shit gets in the way, right? So that when they become used to more of my energy on maybe a daily basis, sometimes they might not like that energy because it's too much for them. because they like the excitement initially, but they don't want that all the time in their life, right? And others, like they see me when I haven't got so much energy, when I am knackered, when my body hurts from fibro or whatever, right? And then they're like, oh, it's gone, and they have a need still for that, and so they'll go off to do something else. This is why some people go from person to person, because they need that dopamine fix of the initial chase in a relationship. And once that chase is off because they've got the person, they then go on to another person. It's just dopamine they're after. They're not really after a relationship and a proper healthy connection, a serious relationship. All they're after is dopamine fix. All right, that didn't work out. Let's go on to the next one. Hi, I'm really, really in love, blah, blah, blah. Everything's great. This is all the story. They're saying everything's romantic, everything's fun. Then the reality sets in. Is there compatibility there? If they're not, what's happening? Oh, the excitement's worn off now because we've got the reality of dealing with everyday situations together and everyday conflicts, which we've got to resolve. Don't resolve them. Okay, on to the next excitement one. It's dopamine. It's dopamine here. This is why people on dating apps are going from person to person. I'm off dating apps at the moment. I'm doing a dopamine detox. I don't want to be addicted to that like a drug, right? I want to be with me and healing myself, and not going after people that are no good for me or interacting with guys that are no good for me, right? I'm done with that. I say I'm done with it at the moment because you can't help but attract different types of people. You're going to have good people attracted to you. You're going to have bad people attracted to you. You're going to have unhealthy people attracted to you. And you're probably going to have healthy people attracted to you at some point, right? So you're going to have all different types of people attracted to you, right? It's just the way it is. But, having said that, you have to understand that this is how it works. You don't just attract what you are. You attract what others need, right? So other people need something from you or within you. But the problem with that is, with relationships and friendship, if all people are just liking you for what they need, when you don't give them that anymore, they will go off. They will either cut the relationship or friendship. They will start to be distant from you. They'll ghost you. They'll change maybe their behavior and attitude towards you because they're not getting what they need, right? When you're in a relationship, you should be helping each other's needs. You should be loving each other. You should be caring about the actual person, not just what the other person can give you, right? So that's a very important point that no one really talks about but me. So 7, recognize heterosexual and dating red flags. This is a huge one. This book can help you. Diary Confessions can help you with that. So particularly to do with dating sites, right? So there's a lot of red flags I've learned over the years, but also in person, like when I meet guys in person, like at clubs and stuff, there's a lot of heterosexual and dating red flags. And I pinpoint a lot of these in the book, right? So if you are an asexual person who's on dating sites, or you come into contact with people that might be suitable to date or not, and heterosexuals that might be flirting with you or after you, you need to understand the warning signs and the red flags, right? And so this book can help you understand the warning signs and red flags. Human nature, unfortunately, means that some of these people you might still go after, right? Even though there's red flags waving around, because we're human beings and we get swept up in our feelings and emotions for that person, even if they're not good for us, right? So don't beat yourself up if that's happened to you. But, if you can spot some dating red flags, some heterosexual dating flags, then you'll be more equipped and armed with thinking twice before you get into a relationship or dating that type of person. And you'll cut a lot of people out that are no good for you, right? You might not cut everyone out that's no good for you because, we can feel things. We can have emotions for people, even if they're not good for us, right? But it's good to go through this book and see the heterosexual dating red flags. It's very clever the way it's done, right? I actually break down in part of this book. I break down a whole load of text messaging from a heterosexual guy to me, and I analyze it in detail for you so that you can see how the conversation going. This is the guy I met last year, right? This isn't recent, but it's a guy I met last year. I don't share his name, obviously, but I take you through his messages, how they're flowing, and what I'm thinking at the time. This is valuable information. Valuable, even this is worth the book alone, to have this specific insight into the truth behind a heterosexual thinking and what an asexual thinking. right? This is very valuable information. If you are looking for a relationship, get this book. It will help save you time, energy, and effort to figure them out, right? It's very important. So I explain how to understand what heterosexual guys say, but actually mean when what they really want is sex. Again, get this Diary Confessions book. If you are in the situation right now where you're dating, especially if you're dating on traditional sites like heterosexual or predominant heterosexual sites, you need this book to help guide you, to show you the red flags of what I was like. I've been on dating sites for 10 years. I'm actually currently on a break from dating sites, right? Like I'm not active on them anymore, right? And so I'm not actively pursuing a relationship for my own health and well-being, right? Detoxifying from that. But if you are in that position now, this book can help you because it can show you the dating red flags. It can show you what heterosexuals really mean versus what they say, which is very important. They're two different things a lot of the time, right? You might think as an asexual something sweet and innocent and may not take it in the actual context and the heterosexual means it. But you've got to understand that heterosexuals, a lot of them think sexually. So what you might think is innocent and sweet, they're actually not thinking that way. And you need to protect yourself as much as possible, right? If you have deep insight into these things, you can protect yourself. Knowledge is power, right? Then you have to implement that knowledge in order to make it more powerful. But at least get the knowledge, right? Equip yourself with as much knowledge as possible so you can recognize these red flags, right? So save yourself from heartache and pain and recover from both more quickly. So I teach that in this book, how to save yourself from heartache and pain. And if you are going through that, recover more quickly. This is book 1 of Diary Confessions, right? There is a book 2 I'm currently writing, and also book 3 as well. So, but this book in and of itself, you can just get it now and it will help you. It's a book in and of itself. I've written it to be a series of books if people want it, but you can just have this book and not buy any of the other books and still be learning a shed load from it, right? This book is in of itself a book that you need really to help you with all these things, right? So 10 self-care practices to reduce pain in turbulent times. We all need those, right? So in this book, I don't just talk about relationships and dating. I also deep dive into my time behind the scenes when I was talking about asexuality at Oxford University for Blue Talks. I talk to you behind the scenes of what that was truly like from someone like me who was anxiety induced, right? I have generalized anxiety disorder. It's a fact, right? Yes, I've worked on my anxiety over the years. I don't have social anxiety, right? And that took me years to overcome. It's only because I started organizing asexual meetups in 2015 that I became not socially anxious anymore. It's due to my asexuality and you, beautiful community, that helped me to not be socially anxious anymore, which is incredible. From someone who was so anxiety induced, they could only be one-to-one with someone. In a group, it was like, I want to run away. I was like, I don't even function in a group. I couldn't even function properly in a group. I had to just I just felt left out and like, I can't be in that groups. Look at me now. That's thanks to asexuality that I found that out about myself. Thanks to you, community. Thanks for the people who showed up to my meetups. Because some of you on here in my community, I know you've come to my meetups in the UK before. And I love you dearly for it. You showed me a way of being comfortable with each other. You showed me like minds. You showed me comfortability. You accepted me just as I accepted you, with love and compassion and understanding predominantly, right? And even if we're different, we still have the sexual attraction, lack of sexual attraction, I should say, in common, right? So, it's important. So I deep dive in this book about my anxiety and how it affected me behind the scenes in the build up to talking about how I reinvented my life to become my best future self, basically, and how that was with my asexual journey. So, get this book because it's really insightful. If you love autobiographical books, you'll love this book. If you want practical advice on how to live your best asexual life, get this book. Right? It's good. I know I wrote it, but I don't write things that I'm not proud of. Right? So change your life from this number 11, Remember, we're doing 30 benefits here of this book. Number 11, change your life from darkness, depression, and happiness to success and happiness using the antidotes I give you. So yes, I give you the antidotes to those things so that you can truly ace your life. I'm going to move my foot now. So, you know, if you suffer with any of those things, darkness, depression, you know, I give you the antidotes, right? I explain something that can enable you to see things in a different way, that you can change your life, that you can change your thinking, that you can improve on those areas, right? So number 12, I'm talking about the benefits of reading this book, right? Number 12, understand the effects of childhood trauma and how to recognize patterns of trauma abuse cycles so you can stop them, right? So I've mentioned this on this channel before. In fact, I've done an in-depth live stream about it. And I've talked about how patterns of childhood trauma can affect your relationships. So, for example, if you are a person that experienced certain type of childhood trauma, right? It can make you feel like, you know, that you might be abandoned in adult relationships. And different people will handle this differently. If you're an anxious attachment style, you'll probably hold on to that person more, even if they're no good for you. You'll hold on to them longer. You'll want to make things work. You'll be anxious that the relationship might end when you don't want it to. You might be more needy of that person. You might, you know, like cling to that person more, if you know what I mean. And you might be like, even if that person's no good for you, you might hold on because you fear being abandoned, and being with that person, even if they're not good for you, is better than being alone, right? Because you might have been very alone as a child. So that can play out in your relationship like that. If you are an avoidant type of person because of your childhood trauma, you might sabotage a relationship by pushing that person away, by avoiding having tough conversations, right? You can't have a healthy relationship unless you deal with tough conversations, conflicts over and over again and resolve them, right? So if you shut down because of your childhood trauma and you don't talk about your feelings and emotions and you don't come up with resolutions that you're both happy with, you're going to push that person away. If you change your behavior and shut down and purposely get more distant from them, and because you're worried about abandonment, so you're doing the opposite, you're pushing that person away, they will eventually go away because you change your attitude and behavior towards them, and they can't speak to you anymore. It's like they're talking to themselves or talking to a brick wall. So you sabotage the relationship. And, you know, that relationship, they might have really loved you in that relationship, but because of your childhood trauma issues and difficulties, instead of addressing them with a counselor, therapist, with either as a couple or separately, you keep repeating the same patterns. And I've seen people who are like, oh, I'm so unlovable on social media. They're like, oh, I'm so unlovable. No one will want to be with me. Right. And so they actually push people away. And, you know, I've actually seen people in a relationship that are still saying they're alone. I've seen people that are saying no one loves them, and when they have got someone who loves them or interested in dating them or interested in potential relationship, they're not interested. They either don't even notice it, or if they do, they're like, oh, I can't be doing that. You know, it's too much hassle. It's too much trouble. But it's like, hang on a minute. You're saying you're lonely. You want to be loved. You know, no one loves you. No one cares about you. You've got someone screaming basically for your attention. Sorry, I need to move my foot. You've got someone screaming for your attention, saying they really care about you, and you don't even care. You're not even grateful or appreciating that person, right? And this is a result of childhood trauma, because you're pushing away, so you know, because you maybe don't think you're worthy. You know, you think everyone will ban you, so I'll just push that person away anyway. If you keep pushing the person away, what they're going to do, eventually they're going to get. And I've seen people in relationships, instead of being truly grateful for that person loving them, caring about them, they then, like, you know, if they get too close to that person, they're worried about they're getting too emotionally close, so they'll start emotionally distancing themselves from that person and, you know, like, go away from that person, when really they do want to be loved. They want the closeness, but instead they push that person away, and they're like, oh, I'll abandon you before you abandon me. It's how some childhood trauma manifests itself. Like, oh, I think you're not going to be with me in a few months' time, so I'll just push you away and abandon you and leave you, right? That doesn't solve that person's childhood trauma issues. that just is another relationship that they've effed up and pushed that person away. You know, and they'll take that to another relationship and they'll keep going along the cycle until they realize, hang on a minute, what am I doing? You know, if I want to be in a relationship, I have to be vulnerable. I have to share my feelings. I have to open up. I have to have difficult conversations. I have to have two-way conversations all the time, right? You can't have a relationship with yourself and be in a relationship. It's called teamwork. Two people talk about their feelings. Two people talk about their emotions. Two people talk about their needs. And you have to come up with reasonable compromises that you both feel happy with. You know, ones that are like in the best interest of both people, not just one particular person. Right. But, you know, I've seen it. I've seen people who are in relationships and they're still saying, oh, I'm lonely. No one cares about me. I'm like, you've got a blooming amazing partner and you're just taking them for granted and you're unappreciating them. And then when you're on your own again, you'll be miserable, depressed, and a lot worse because you're not appreciating what you've got in front of you. I've come across so many people who are like, oh, I really, you know, want to be loved. Oh, I'm feeling lonely. No one makes me feel special. Then they have someone who comes along and they completely destroy that relationship or possibility of a relationship and possibility of true love. You know, it's absolutely crazy because they'd rather be in the cycle of no one loves me, no one cares about me, than actually saying, oh, right, this is a real genuine person who does love and care about me. Let's work together to fix those issues because I don't want to lose you. I want to be in this for the long haul. Doesn't matter what relationship you're in, you're always going to have to deal with conflict and problems. You know, it's like, who do you want to do that with? You know, you're going to have to do that anyway. So do you want to pick someone who really loves you, who you want to do that with, or do you want to pick someone who doesn't really care about you and can give a shit? Choice is yours, really, isn't it? So, you know what I mean? Childhood trauma affects us all, right? And we should be helping people in relationships to deal with their childhood trauma as well as them helping themselves. You're not a therapist in a relationship, right? So they have to deal with their own childhood trauma with a professionally trained therapist as well and work on things, get courses and things to help themselves. But also in a healthy relationship, people both come with baggage. People are not simple people. They come with complex backgrounds. You know, some people go, I want a simple relationship. They're like, what the F is that? Right? You're coming with baggage to a relationship, just like someone else is coming with baggage to a relationship. Your life has got loads of layers in it, just like their life has got loads of layers in it. Right? You're a layered person. You're a layered individual with many nuances. There's nothing simple about that. Right? Simple is just boring and simple doesn't really do much. You can't really go much places with simple, right? We want to we want to strive to grow ourselves, or at least healthy people do want to strive to grow ourselves, to become a better person, to upskill ourselves, to make progress in our lives. Otherwise we just stagnate and life gets boring, right? So, you know, this is such an important book for speaking about these type of things and giving you little reminders of how you can truly ace your life in multiple aspects of your life, right? So that is benefit number 12, right? Excuse me. Number 13, understand what codependency is and how it can affect your relationships. Yes, I'm not going to say too much about that because I want you to like take it in the book, right? But codependency is often got through childhood, through no fault of your own. And, you know, it's something that can affect your adult relationships a lot. And so it's important we understand and know about codependency, right? Your childhood trauma isn't your fault, right? You can help what happened, but we have to, as adults, be able to deal with that in adult life and work through it, right? Work through it with a professional. There's no shame in seeing a therapist, right? I intend to probably go back and try and see a therapist. When I say go back to therapy. I haven't had therapy for a long time. But, you know, I want to help myself. I want to improve. A therapist can help you see things you can't see, give you new skills and experiences, up-level yourself. Therapy is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It helps you improve yourself in your life and get better in your mind. Unless you've got bad therapists. There are some bad ones out there. I had 2 I tried last year. No good. Because I've grown myself. So I can tell when a therapist is not good for me, when they're saying stuff that is actually not what a therapist should be saying. It's unhealthy stuff they're saying, right? I had that experience last year because I've got basic counseling skills myself, basic counseling skills, certification, and I've got life coaching skills, certification. I'm actually a trained advisor as well, fully qualified advisor, right? So anyway, moving on. 14, how to have healthier communication. So if you'll find it difficult to communicate with people, whether that's friendships or relationships, right, this book can help you with that, right? Healthier communication is all about expressing your needs in a feeling way, right, rather than an attacking way. You say, I feel this way, I feel that way. And so this is what I dive into in this book. So this book, as you've seen already so far, we're only on 14th benefit. We're not even halfway through because there's 30 benefits of reading this book. This book already can help you. What I explain, it can help you stop procrastination, right? And it can help you transform your pain into your power. It can help you overcome difficult and painful situations. It can help you to understand the real truth about why people get attracted to you. It can help you to recognize heterosexual and dating red flags. It can help you to understand your past traumas and how they affect relationships today, right? So it's really, really important that you get a copy of this book so that you can, find out how to truly ace your life. It's very important. Right, so we're on benefit 15 now, right? This book shows you how to assert yourself in communicating your needs, wants, and boundaries to heterosexuals. Don't forget, boundaries only work with healthy people, right? So if you're assertive and you're asserting your boundaries, a healthy individual will respect you for that. If you are asserting yourself with boundaries, this is like standards and needs, for example. If you've got an unhealthy person you're dealing with, they may gaslight you. They may say things to you that are not good, right? Because they don't want you to have boundaries and standards. They want you to be under their control and do what they want you to do so that you can satisfy their needs whilst your needs are being minimized, dismissed, avoided, or completely destroyed, right? So this talks about beforehand, like I said, seeing heterosexual and dating red flags, but it also talks about communicating your needs and your wants and your boundaries to heterosexuals. Very important in terms of physical contact as well with heterosexuals, because you don't want to be getting in a situation where you're physically uncomfortable with, right? So again, Diary Confessions of a Hyperromantic Asexual covers that as well, right? 16, have sexual pleasure in an asexual way, right? So if you're asexual and you've got physical needs of your own, this is something that's a very, very big myth, right, in the asexual community and some parts of the asexual community, and also online from people who are not part of the asexual community. People think that every asexual doesn't have any needs or sexual needs, right? So what do I mean by sexual needs? So you might actually like touching, right? You might like touching, or you might like kissing, you might like caressing, you might like massage, right? So it's how do you get those needs, those asexual needs, met in an asexual way? So massage, for example, can just be sensual, but it could be seen as sexual. How do you get your massage needs met in a relationship with a heterosexual, right? Because you don't want them to go too far. Maybe you don't want sex, but you don't mind body massage. Maybe you don't mind some sexual touching, but you don't want sex and stuff like that. This book shows you how to get your asexual, even sexual needs met whilst still maintaining your asexual boundaries, right? So some asexuals have sexual behavior despite the fact they've got no sexual attraction. I have some sexual behavior. I have some needs. I have lots of kissing needs, for example. I like touching the guy's upper body the most, right? And so, this book shows you how to get those needs met in an asexual way that's best for you, right? So again, if you're looking for a partner, if you're looking to date, get into a relationship, or maybe you a type of asexual that's polyamorous and you like to explore things, right, with heterosexuals, then this is a book for you, right? So Diary Confessions book I'm talking about, of a hyper-romantic asexual, you know, it is available on Amazon, Kindle and paperback from any Amazon across the globe. And also, if you haven't got the Kindle app, you can download it to any device. I've got it on my Mac, right? I don't have an actual Kindle physically. I have a Mac, and I download the app to my Mac. That's how I see my books, right? So recognize what is sensual, romantic, and asexual attraction versus sexual attraction. This is so important, especially if you are interacting or dating heterosexuals, or even in a relationship with a heterosexual, because heterosexuals tend to clump everything together. They tend to clump sexual attraction, romantic attraction, asexual attraction, all as one big thing. It's all like attraction. It's all clumped under sexual attraction usually. They don't usually separate the romantic and aesthetic part. But it's essential that you understand the difference yourself, so that when you are dating or in a relationship or potential relationship scenario with a heterosexual, that you can explain these things and explain that what a heterosexual might find as sexual attraction and very sexy and sexual, you might find as very sensual, for example. What they might see as hot and sexy in you because they're sexually attracted to you, you might think they got hot aesthetic look. And you just really love their aesthetics, but you're not into genitalia stuff, right? This is so important. This book can help guide you through all of these things. This is why it's not just a diary book. It's something that can truly help you in your life, and you can use it as a tool in your dating and relationships and life. Even a lot of stuff you can apply it to friendships, so you can truly ace your life. Right, so 18, this book teaches you how to be confident in your own body and get your own intimacy and pleasure needs met in a way that's right for you, right? Because a lot of people think, oh, asexuals don't want to get, don't want to get sexual, they don't want to get close, or they don't want to have any physical stuff. Some people think asexuals are like more emotionless, and that's from like media portrayal sometimes and stuff. And they don't understand, but asexuals have real needs. We're so nuanced. Some asexuals don't need much physical touching. Other asexuals, they crave it so badly. We crave that connection. We crave that physical intimacy, that essentiality, that touch that says, oh, I care about you. I feel you. I'm connected to you. I love you. I want you in a, oh, I love your aura way. You know what I mean? So this book is helping you to get your asexual needs met in those types of situations. Really important. Asexual needs are just as important as heterosexual needs. And it's important you know how to navigate that. Right? So this book shows you how to be creating a deep emotional connection. Right? So in order to have a serious committed relationship, and in order to have a deep, loving, lasting relationship, we need emotional connection. But this doesn't just happen from you. You've got to have someone who's a willing participant, right? You've got to have someone who's open up to you and also be emotionally connected to you, especially as an asexual person. It's so vital, because most asexuals love through a deep emotional connection, right? And if you are not getting that emotional needs of connection met, that can make you feel very disconnected from your partner. It can make you feel very alone, even in a relationship, and it can lead to heartache and heartbreak and pain for you. Right? But you've got to speak up. And if a person can't provide emotional connection for you, then usually eventually it'll be an end of the relationship, because it'll be too painful for you. Because asexuals are not focused on genitalia, or focused on the deep emotional connection, the commonalities, the reciprocity, all this type of thing, which is actually very healthy for a relationship. You've got to have compatibility. You've got to have things in common. You've got to have reciprocity in a relationship. We focus on a lot of the other things that are not involved in genitalia. So instead of just going for the initial, wow, I'm chemically attracted to you, I'm dopamine hit by you, we focus on the other things. However, as a hyper-romantic asexual, I do have the dopamine stuff going on. I do get aesthetically attracted to a guy, and that can take over my brain and emotions, just like a heterosexual can get overtaken by his sexual attraction. I can get overtaken by my hyperromanticism, and I'm very honest about that in this book. I'm very honest about that is the way I am, and I explain this in the book. Now, a lot of people wouldn't even admit it. Like, why would you admit that you get attracted to or have love feelings for a guy so quickly? Why would you admit that? Because I know other people experience this as well, but they just don't want to say. And I want you to know that it's okay to be you. right? There's no one else like you in the world. And yes, you'll F up, you'll make mistakes, things will go wrong. You'll do things that aren't in your best interest sometimes. But do you know what? We learn from those experiences. And it's better to have had some experiences than just sit behind your laptop doing F all with your life and not living. Right? Life is for living. And so when we live, we're going to F up, right? We're going to make mistakes. We're going to go through hardship. We're going to go through pain. We're going to go through emotional traumas and difficulties. But at least we're alive. We're not a flaming robot. We're not actually AI, right? We've got emotions. We care, right? So this book's going to help you, though. It's going to help you to understand the red flags, like I said, from heterosexuals, and understand the dating red flags as well, but also understand like how to have a healthier relationship and what type of things you're looking for, you know, and what type of thing you need. You need an emotional connection. You need good communication skills. These things lacking in that, it's going to be a downward spiral. Right, but obviously you talk to the person, try and get them on board, and to be working as a team. But if the other person don't work as a team, you can't have a team with just one person. Remember this, people. You cannot have a team relationship with one person. It doesn't work. So, you know, hopefully everyone will get this book, and then the people that are like the opposite to you, maybe, that are having difficulties in relationships, they can actually work on themselves, work on their communication skills, work on their red flags, work on becoming a better person, and so can you. So that's how you can have a healthy relationship. Right. So, right, 21, helping you to see dating, communication, and romance blind spots so you can sharpen your bullshit detector. So, I've said actually number 20 is get your asexual needs met without caring what others think, which is really important. Because, you know, some people won't agree with everything you do, right? But it's important to be true to who you are and get your asexual needs met without caring what others think. Of course, you have to care about the person who's meeting those needs. But I'm saying, you know, sometimes you'll do things in your asexual life that other people won't agree with. And you just still have to be you. You can't be a people pleaser. You have to do what's right for you, not what someone tells you to do. In this book, I explain there's a situation, right, where I don't go too much into detail, but basically someone was telling me how to do a certain thing. And that's not me. That's not who I am. That was them and the way they would have handled the situation, not me, because I'm not them and they're not me. And I had to stick up to that person. That was hard, but I did it. Because, you know, you're not going to care what other people think that's outside your own situation and that's outside of you. You've got to do what's right for you. Right? You can't be people pleasing all life. You try and people please, you don't get anywhere. You don't get your own needs met. And things don't work out anyway because you're not being your true authentic self, and the whole thing will collapse in the end. So getting your asexual needs met without caring what others think, this book shows you, explains to you how to do that. And then, like I just said a minute ago, helping you to see dating, communication, romance blind spots. Really important to sharpen your bullshit detector. So if you're on dating sites particularly, right, and if you're having text conversations, right, I help to show you how some of these can just be bullshit, right? They're things that people say that they don't really mean, or they do mean something, but they mean something else than you think they mean, right? So this is really important to keep yourself safe, right? And right, dissect text messages to expose lies. This is one of my favorite chapters, because I literally was explaining this earlier to you that I take text messages. In this book, you actually see it in the form of text messages as well, which is what is so super cool. I'm not sure if I can find an example right now, but there is text message conversation, and, you know, I dissect it all. So it's really important. Oh, here it is. Look, can you see? That's actually text message conversations. So I actually dissect it and explain the different text messages and what's lies. I show you in here what's lies, so you can actually apply that to your own life when you're in text message conversation, for example, with heterosexuals. It's valuable knowledge. It's insider knowledge that you need to have. So get a copy of this Diary Confessions book, right? So create a great speech to grab and hold people's attention. So I'm talking about being behind the scenes of speaking at Oxford University, and I'm showing how to craft a great speech that, you know, will hold attention. And so you might think that's irrelevant to you as an asexual person, but You might have to talk in a group discussion. You might have to talk socially sometimes. You might have to do something for university, for example, or a course you're doing. And all these things I'm sharing with you in this book can help you with, speaking in other situations that aren't a speaking on stage situation, right? It's just very insightful to see it, and it's insightful to understand the pattern of how to draw people's attention in and keep it, hopefully, right? Set yourself free from societal constraints to be yourself. So in this book, I explain how to do that, which is so important for asexuals, right? Because we feel very confined often by societal expectations, stereotypical roles we're meant to do in life. And, that can make us feel very disheartened. So I show you how to break free from those societal conditions, come into your own and embrace your own personal power in this book, right? How to use exposure therapy to achieve your dreams and propel your life forward in spite of fears and anxiety. So this was a hard one for me. I basically did do exposure therapy on myself to get myself to speak at Oxford University on stage. And so that was really hard for me. It wasn't an easy thing I did. So if you're not aware of exposure therapy is all about exposing yourself to the thing that you're afraid of and exposing yourself more and more to it, to eventually, in theory, you become not afraid of it. It doesn't always work like that, though. As you'll see in this book, I struggled, I did it, and I managed to achieve it, but it was a very difficult experience for me. But if you've got anxiety, you will definitely relate to this book, and you'll be like, oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one who goes through that. You know what I mean? So make yourself feel better in difficult and trying times. So I explain how to do this, because I was having a lot of difficulties in the lead up to my speech at Oxford, but also I wanted to do it because it's something that I'm really proud of that I actually did go through and achieve, right? So recognize fears and anxieties and listen to your intuition and inner knowing. Yes. So I think it's quite difficult in life because sometimes we don't know if what we're experiencing is actually genuine anxiety that we need to be aware of, and that's okay because our anxiety is there to protect us. Anxiety per se is not a bad thing. It's there to protect us against people who are not good for us, who are creating unsafe environments for us, who are not good for us. And so, it can be hugely beneficial. Also, it can be too much and overtake us, right? So, how to listen to your inner intuition is very important, and inner knowing, because that helps you to breed trust with yourself. So benefit 28, take feedback and let it go when it's not meant for you. This is so important because a lot of us, we hear a harsh comment and then we're like, oh my God, this is so bad. But actually, do we need to take that comment on board, and do we need to apply it to ourselves? Just because someone said something that might not be good about us or to us doesn't mean to say we have to accept that thing, right? I have people on this channel. Most of you are amazing. Most of the comments are great, but I have comments that aren't good. And it depends on how and what they say as to whether I block them or not. But I blocked someone earlier because they told me to shut it. Do you think I'm going to accept someone speaking to me like that? No, it's so disrespectful. And if they're not interested in what I've got to say, why even bother to comment on this channel, watch it in the first place? So, of course, they're blocked, right? Because if they're disrespecting me, they're going to disrespect people in my community here. And I don't want that. I want this to be as safe space as possible for asexuals. So I'll tolerate or accept some constructive criticism or things that I may not be in agreement with, but there'll be a limit. And if I feel my energy's being sucked, if I feel it's getting me down and I feel they're being horrible, I'll block them. Why? Because I value myself. I value this channel. I value my community here. I'm not just here to get comments on my channel. I'm here to foster a loving, caring community with like-minded people who can share on this channel in the comments and feel as safe as possible, right? So I show you how to take feedback, but let it go when it's not meant for you. In other words, just because someone gives you feedback, you don't have to agree with it and take it on board. So benefit 29, Learn how to stop living life like a machine and speak your truth. I think this is so important, especially in the day and age of AI, right? We don't want to be living like a machine. We're not a machine. We want to speak our truth and be our authentic selves, our authentic self, right? And this book can show you how to do that and be in your personal power. And benefit 30, change your mindset and perception to live your best asexual life. That's what I teach you how to do throughout the life lessons of this Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual 78 Life Lessons to Ace Your Life book. Don't forget to remember that quote that I said earlier on. Your truth and your pain is your personal power. Haters are always going to hate, but loving yourself inside, regardless of what others say, think, and do, is how you truly ace your life. So please allow me to show you how to ace your life with the 78 life lessons in this book so you can truly be your best, authentic, asexual, beautiful self. Go and grab a copy of Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual 78 Life Lessons to Ace Your Life book right now on Amazon and enjoy going through it. And leave a comment here, leave a review on Amazon would really be helpful for all the other people who are thinking about getting the book. Go and do that. It'll be an absolute pleasure to hear what you have to say about the book. Hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed writing it. It is a best-selling book. It was #1 hot new release on Amazon.com and Amazon.co.uk, beating hundreds and thousands of other books, right? And I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud that an asexual book got to be in that position. You can see the screenshots in the communities tab and on my blogs and Asexualise blog and things like that, right, as proof. It got to be bestseller in multiple categories, #1 hot new release. And it's my pleasure to bring this book to you to truly ace your life. So I'm going to put the link in the description. And don't forget to click through and go and grab your copy. You can get it from Amazon all across the globe. And give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Lots of love to you and thank you for tuning in. And I hope you enjoyed these 30 benefits of Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual, how this book can truly ace your life. Lots of love. Take care. Bye.